French Project 3.0.
I'm Edward Manet.
My name's Vincent Van Gogh. And I'm Paul Cezanne. My name's Paul Signac.
Well, hey there. My name is George Surratt.
Oh, hey, George. What's up, George? Glad you can make it. So what are you going to have today?
Who were the Impressionists?
French Impressionists were a group of people who painted in a new way during their time.
Unlike other artists, they painted outside, not inside.
They painted in a blur, and the pictures were not clear.
They were frowned upon by many French people.
They stuck to their work. Soon enough, Americans came and bought it.
How did Impressionism begin, and why?
Well, Impressionism began as a movement in the 19th century.
It was mainly started in Paris, France.
Early Impressionists were radicals in their time,
Breaking many of the rules that the picture making had in the earlier generation.
It began so that Impressionists could come together to develop new ideas and try out other ways to make art. What styles of painting came before the Impressionist movement?
The styles of painting that came before the Impressionists were mainly the styles of artwork including the Neoclassicism, Romanticism, and the Realism.
Neoclassicism was drawing and painting architecture of classic and Renaissance buildings.
Romanticism, attitude or intellectual orientation that characterized many works of literature, painting, music, architecture, criticism, and historiography in Western civilization over a period of time in the late 18th to mid-19th centuries. Realism was similar to Impressionism, but it was known to say that reality should be viewed as it really is.
What does Impressionism try to capture?
Well, Impressionism tries to capture scenes of everyday life. Nature and normal people in Paris are captured by Impressionists.
Still life is also a scene.
How do you describe the style called Impressionism?
Impressionism is a style that does not show much detail.
They are blurry up close. The colors are very vibrant and lively.
Short brush strokes make up the picture, and light and shadow help to focus the main part of the picture. Specifically, what is the style of your particular Impressionist artist?
My style was very notable for its rough beauty, emotional honesty, and bold color.
Well, I specifically painted realism. I painted things as they were actually seen, but they were kind of blurry, but yeah.
I did a lot of pointillism and cubism. Pointillism is painting with little dots of different color to make up the picture instead of an entire brush stroke across the canvas.
Specifically, I like to use pointillism in my artwork. Now, pointillism is where you use little dots instead of short brush strokes to make up the painting, and I like to use that most of the time.
This painting I painted is called Renan and Longchamp. I painted it to show how the upper class socialized between themselves, and I painted it in a view where the horses are actually coming at you, and they like to horse race. I was born in Paris on January 23rd, 1832. I was born into an upper-class household. My father wanted me to join the Navy, but I had failed twice because I wanted to paint. In 1856, I had opened my very own studio. I died of untreated syphilis, which contracted in my 40s. The disease caused me considerable pain and partial paralysis. My left foot was amputated, and I died at the age 51 in 1883 in Paris.
This was my most famous painting. It's called A Sunday on La Grande Jatte. I was only 26 when I first painted A Sunday on La Grande Jatte. It took me 2 years to paint this, and it was showed at the 8th annual and final Impressionist exhibition in 1886. Now, I used pointillism, and it was one of the first major recognizable paintings using pointillism. I was trying to capture public imagination and how all the people were just sitting there naturally on La Grande Jatte. Yes.
That is just superb, thank you.
I was born on December 2nd, 1859, and I was raised in a rich family in Paris. I love to paint, but some of my first paintings were rejected by the places at first, so I formed a society for me and other independent artists. I was one of the first people to create pointillism and to use it in my own artwork. I died on March 29th, 1891, and my death is uncertain. Could have been meningitis, pneumonia, infectious angina, and or diphtheria.
Most famous piece is Comblé Le Chateau, which illustrates my vacation home in the Alps. I was born on November 11th, 1863. I used to love architecture, but I saw a few Impressionist paintings and wanted to become an artist. My partner was George Seurat, and after my partner died in 1891, I became the chief spokesman of the Neo-Impressionist movement, supported by the critic Felix Fignon and Charles Henry, a scientist, who underpinned Signac's theory of color with scientific fact. In 1899, I wrote a standard work on Neo-Impressionism, De Eugene Delacroix on Neo-Impressionisms. My favorite motifs were the Mediterranean landscapes, including the sea and boats, which I loved. Died on August 15th, 1935.
How? Do you know how?
Old age.
Okay.
I was born on the 19th of January in 1839 in Agen Provence in the south of France. My work is said to be the bridge between the late 19th century Impressionism work and the early 20th century new line of artistically something Cubism. One day, while I was working in the field, I was caught up in a storm. Only for working for 2 hours under the downpour did I decide to go in. But on my way, I collapsed. I was taken home by a passing driver. My old housekeeper rubbed my arms and legs to restore the circulation when I got home. As a result, I regained consciousness. On the following day, I intended to continue working, but later on, I fainted. I then was taken home by another driver, and I died a few weeks later of pneumonia on October 22nd, 1906.
Now your bio.
I was born in March 30th in 1843 in Breda, Netherlands. Yeah. I was born into roughly middle-class household. During a age of mine for my bipolar disorder, I cut off my ear. Yep. And I shot myself with a revolver at the age of 37. I'm sorry. It gets emotional.
What styles of painting?
Oh my god, you can't even say the question.
What styles of painting came before the Impressionist movement?
Oh my god.
Rubbed my arms and
Alright.
rubbed my arms and legs. My old housekeeper rubbed my arms and legs.
Keep it together.
Some say my style is a little out of the box. And this applies to the way I dress and also my paintings. But personally,
A way to come right in the scene, Jorge.
I think that it is just my style overall.
We're frowned upon by many French people. But they suck.
But they suck.
How did Impressionism begin, and why?
Impressionism began as a movement in the 19th century, and it mainly started in Paris, France. Early Impressionism.
Now, can you describe this painting for us?
Possibly, if I could get out of this page. Oh, I got it.
You sure you can describe it, Summit?
I don't know. Oh. Cancel. Oh.
We're going down. Go. Oh, shit. Ow, it hit my leg. Introducing Paul Cezanne. Nice to meet you.
Oh, sick.
Blake's been here playing COD with my brother. Come on. You guys are cool.
So I'm in the way? Am I in the way, Blake?